Sheldon stands in the empty room of his house. The last day. Soon he'll leave for Caltech for good. Missy walks up to him and asks a question. Will you remember me? Any brother on Earth would hug his sister. Say something warm. Anything at all. And what does Sheldon do? He gives a tiny smile and says he has an eidetic memory, so he has no choice but to remember her. His sister opened up her heart to him, and he answered her with a fact. Classic Sheldon. And here's the thing, this isn't really about Sheldon being cold. This whole scene is built around Missy, about a girl nobody noticed her whole life. Sheldon here is just a wall she's talking to. By the way, I already made a video about Missy, you can check it out on my channel. I always thought Young Sheldon was a story about Sheldon Cooper. Yeah, that one from The Big Bang Theory. I mean, it makes sense, right? His name is in the title. For 7 seasons, we watched this little genius grow up in Texas. The main character, the protagonist, the center of everything. But honestly, that's a huge misunderstanding that every viewer of the show has. Because if you really look closely, the whole picture flips. Sheldon is not the main character of his own show. He is, honestly, the least important character in this entire story. And I'm not saying that just to sound dramatic. I really believe it, and now I'm going to try to explain why. Hey, take a seat on Cooper's couch and enjoy the video. Let's figure out what actually makes a character important. An important character is someone who changes. Someone who goes through trials, breaks down, puts themselves back together, and by the end becomes a different person. That's the foundation of any story. But if you take Sheldon in the first episode, 9 years old, and Sheldon in the last one, 14 years old, and compare them, there's almost no difference. None at all. It's the same person. In the first season, Sheldon chokes on a hot dog and stops eating solid food. One normal everyday stress, and he has a total meltdown. His parents drag him to a psychiatrist. The reaction is, to put it mildly, weird. Next, his mom won't let him do something, and out of rage he scrubs the whole house until it shines. He can't control his mom's decisions, so he controls the cleanliness. His mom won't sign the permission slip for a field trip, so out of spite, he secretly applies to Harvard. His strategy is always the same, either run away or shut down or use his intellect as a weapon. In the 7th season, his father dies. That's the worst thing that can happen. And how does Sheldon react? He sits down in a chair and freezes. He just can't process the thought of death through his logic. He doesn't cry at the funeral. In canon, that just doesn't happen. He doesn't say a single word to his family about his feelings. Instead, he sits there and runs alternate timelines in his head, imagining himself as a hero from Star Trek, who can go back in time and redo everything. He can't deal with the guilt of just ignoring his dad on the last morning of his life, when his dad was leaving for work, so he keeps rewriting that morning in his head over and over. And 27 days after his father's death, he's sitting at a sermon about grief, pulls out a brand new laptop, a gift from the doctors, and starts working. When people give him weird looks, he calls them Luddites. And that's where it hit me. This is the exact same reaction he had at 9 years old. Run away, shut down, hide behind his intellect. 5 years, his dad is dead, and the guy hasn't moved a single inch. And there's one more creepy detail. In the very finale, his mom asks the kids to pray and imagine that their dad's spirit is sitting with them at the table. This is the moment when his mom desperately needs support. And what does Sheldon do? He flat out refuses to acknowledge the spirit because ghosts don't exist. It goes against the laws of physics. For him, scientific accuracy matters more than basic compassion for his mother, who is crushed by grief. And when he does finally agree to get baptized for her, he does it in a wetsuit, so he won't catch germs from the baptismal water. And in the voiceover, adult Sheldon coldly notes that the ear infection he caught anyway was worth it. His mom was happy. You see? Even his rare kind acts. They're cold calculation. His mom's tantrums at home would cause more discomfort than a minute in dirty water. And I didn't even catch this right away, but the creators did this on purpose. This isn't lazy writing. Chuck Lorre literally said that Sheldon as a kid is Sheldon in progress. But in progress doesn't mean he's heading toward healing. He's just slowly growing the armor that we see on the adult version in The Big Bang Theory. So what's the trap here? The writers couldn't let Sheldon grow up. Because in The Big Bang Theory, The adult Sheldon is a closed-off, self-centered man who doesn't understand sarcasm. If little Sheldon learned to feel empathy and became a normal teenager, the whole franchise would collapse. The canon wouldn't line up. So they built a brick wall around him. The second he got close to emotional growth, they rolled him back to factory settings. And that was the first red flag for me. After that, it gets even weirder and crazier. There's this thing in movies, it's called a MacGuffin. It's when there's some object, a briefcase, a document, a secret, and the whole plot spins around it. Everyone chases it, takes risks, fights over it, changes, but the object itself is empty. It doesn't mean anything. It's just an excuse for interesting things to happen to the people around it. Sheldon in Young Sheldon is a MacGuffin. He himself is a static, unchanging thing, but his very existence, his genius, his needs, create an endless chain of crises. And those crises force everyone else to grow. Sounds like a theory just for the sake of a theory? Okay, let's go through the facts. Season 2. George Sr. gets offered his dream job, a coaching position at a college in Tulsa. This is a chance to pull the family out of poverty, a chance at the career he dreamed about his whole life. And what happens? It comes up at the Thanksgiving table. The family is discussing the move. And Sheldon panics at the mere thought of changing his routine. He loses it, runs away from the table, and George turns down his dream job. Of course, it's not only Sheldon's fault here, Mary. As usual, showed her indifference to George and didn't back him up, but we already covered that in a separate episode about Mary and George. The father buries his dream alive for the sake of his son's peace and the family's. And the most bitter part, nobody even really appreciated that sacrifice. They just took it for granted. Sheldon learns nothing in this episode. He doesn't grow. He doesn't realize what his dad gave up. He's just a trigger. The whole episode is about the quiet tragedy of George, who starts burying himself alive from this exact moment. In the first season, Sheldon asks for a computer. He really does need a computer for his calculations, and I totally get him. I got a computer myself very early, and it gave a huge push to my intellectual development. But on the show, this request cracks everything open. The family is broke. Mom had been secretly hiding money from her husband for years. They have a horrible fight. Mom takes the kids and leaves to stay with Meemaw. Sheldon gets the computer, the price of his little want to crack in his parents' marriage. Again, he just stood there. He didn't do anything, but because of him, everything blew up. But the darkest episode is in the 4th season. Missy's heart is broken, her first love, and out of anger and pain, she's snapping at everyone. And Sheldon? He just sits in his room and whines that it's too loud and they're keeping him from focusing. He doesn't do anything mean, but Mom instantly takes Sheldon's side and demands that Missy apologize, without even asking what happened to her daughter. And this fanaticism of Mary's making life best for Sheldon and worst for everyone else becomes the last straw. George explodes, tells Mary everything that had been piling up for years, that she's obsessed only with Sheldon, and doesn't see the other kids or her husband at all. George goes off to a bar where he gets close to the neighbor, Brenda. Missy runs away from home. In one episode, the whole family is on the edge of a cliff, and Sheldon, the blind spot that made all of this come together. You notice the pattern? It repeats over and over. Sheldon is bored at school. He demands to be driven to lectures at the college, and Meemaw has to become his personal driver. She ends up in that classroom, meets Sturgis, and from there grows her whole multi-season romance arc. Just because her grandson got bored. Sheldon took part in a twin study, and the development in that episode happens to someone other than him. The tests show that Missy has an off-the-charts emotional intelligence. She reads psychologists like an open book, sees their hidden family problems, and the parents watching through the glass realize for the first time how badly they've neglected their daughter. Sheldon left for a while for a school for gifted kids in Dallas, and without him, the house gets scary quiet. The family suddenly realizes that without the chaos around Sheldon, they don't even have anything to talk about with each other. Their whole daily life held together only on putting out his crises. Everywhere you look, Sheldon doesn't act. He just exists. And the ones who grow, break, and change are everyone around him. Even his atheism works the same way. He casually suggests to Missy that she should doubt the Bible, and that kicks off a whole crisis for Mary, a scandal with the church, a conflict with the pastor. And Sheldon learns nothing from it. He's a stone thrown into water, and the ripples spread out into everyone else's lives. And now the third thing. If Sheldon stands still, look at the journey everyone else goes through. It's just night and day. Georgie. At the start, the dumb older brother, the jock, the punching bag everyone laughs at because his genius little brother skipped grades and ended up sitting at the same desk as him. You know who he becomes? First, a business instinct wakes up in him. He resells discounted snow globes, playing on Texans' nostalgia for snow, and makes money. Then he drops out of school to make more money, and he sees no potential in college and doesn't go down Sheldon's path. His father, furious, kicks him out, and Georgie doesn't give up. He moves into the garage and pays his own bills. He finds out about Mandy's pregnancy at 17, and he doesn't run away like any guy would. He takes responsibility. He works himself to the bone, puts up with everything. He has a panic attack during the birth, but he still stands there next to her. And when his father dies, it's 19-year-old Georgie who leans over the casket and promises that he'll take care of everyone. And he does. He buys a tire shop, the very one that grows into his future tire empire. From a caricature into a real man and the head of the family, that's a hero's arc. That's a journey. Missy. The girl with the invisible feelings, that's what she called it herself to Meemaw back in the first season. You couldn't come up with a better metaphor for a child's loneliness. A kid in the shadow of a genius who went unnoticed for years because the whole house revolves around Sheldon's schedule, phobias, and diet. She goes through the pain of first love, through teenage rebellion, through stealing her dad's truck and running away from home, through the tornado, where in a ditch by the road, she truly makes up with her father, tearfully begging him to forgive her for everything. And then, in the 7th season, while Mom and Sheldon are in Germany, 15-year-old Missy basically becomes the woman of the house. She runs the budget, holds the household together, becomes a stand-in mom for her dad, and she loses her father, the one person who saw her through that invisibility. Her pain at the funeral is real, without any movie gloss, pure anger and pure grief. George Sr. In The Big Bang Theory, Sheldon spent years calling him a dumb drunk and a cheater, and young Sheldon showed a completely different man, a tired, loving father who sacrificed everything. His career in Tulsa, his pride when the school cynically fired him and gave his position to his best friend, but whether that guy was really a friend, you can find out from my separate video about George Cooper. And in the end, he says goodbye to life itself. A heart attack at work literally a couple of days before moving to the new dream job in Houston. He never got to enjoy the triumph. And Mary, from a caring mom into a woman broken by grief who the church betrayed, and throughout the second a scandal hit the family. The very church she had loyally served for years. And in the finale, she clings to religion, not out of faith anymore, but just to survive psychologically, to keep from falling apart from the pain. That's the same fanaticism we later see in BBT. You see the difference? Georgie, Missy, George, Mary, Meemaw. Every one of them went through hell and came out a different person. And Sheldon rolled up the sleeves of his sweater and stayed the exact same Sheldon. By the way, that's not a metaphor. In the finale, adult Sheldon literally rolls up his sleeves. And the creators said they did that on purpose, to remind people of the old Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory. They can put a grown-up sweater on him, a wife, kids, a Nobel Prize, but he'll always roll up the sleeves. And here a fair question comes up. Do the numbers back this up? Yeah, if you look at how many episodes Sheldon actually drives the plot, and in the early seasons, it's around 80%. By the 5th season, already about 40. And in the 6th, 25-30%. Mandy's pregnancy, Meemaw's arrests, Mary's collapse in the church, the father's death, all of it unfolds practically without him. The title character, by the end of his own show, became a background comedy character. And you know what really seals it? After the show ended, they launched a spin-off, Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage, about Georgie. with no Sheldon at all. The franchise just dropped its genius and rolled on with the ones who used to be the background. So why am I telling you all this? The bottom line is this. Young Sheldon was never a story about how a genius came to understand the world. It's actually the complete opposite about how ordinary but incredibly strong people broke themselves, so this genius could have a future. Sheldon bends the orbits of everyone around him, while he himself stays a cold, motionless point. And here's the most bitter part. There's a fan theory that the adult Sheldon, the one writing these memoirs he finally grew up, became a father, and only now understands what an impossible burden he was for his family. The whole show is his way of saying thank you, and of saying sorry. Whether you agree with my take or not, write it in the comments, and I'll keep bringing you interesting videos about this universe. Thank you for watching. We're always waiting for you on Cooper's Couch, and it only gets more interesting from here.